Welcome back to another episode of Psycosmos. Today I'm going to be going over the questions that we received from the video that we put out last week. Last week we submitted a video where we wanted to hear from you guys. We wanted to hear more about your questions and what kind of things that you wanted answered. It actually was from like 2 weeks ago. So I am going to go about answering those questions now. So first question is Tara369327. Could you describe what your typical ritual and habit is like regarding preparation for the sacred secretion, how that may differ for women? Yeah, so number one, it is different for men and women. A lot of that has to do with the timing. For women, we're actually still uncovering this. Highly recommend some books such as Womb Awakening or Red Moon. These are some books that we discovered through our free women's workshop. We have about 30 women who are dedicated to meeting kind of once every single month or so, every 5 weeks. We can come together and hold a space, hold a community for the ladies so that they can discuss these types of things. For the men and the women, the processes are very similar. I know a lot of people talk about fasting. It's not just general fasting. You have to kind of go a little bit deeper with that. For men, they can actually fast longer spurts in periods of time, but women can fast more sporadically with like intermittent fasting and things of that nature. So it's a little different. I don't highly recommend fasting during the sacred secretion. It's more eating light. You want to eat light. I mean, if you really want to go for a Kundalini awakening during the sacred secretion process, again, we've talked about this. These are two different things. Kundalini is more of a solar, light-based awakening. Sacred secretion is more of a lunar, autonomic response that your body does every single month. Anybody who's telling you that the men and the women's bodies work the same, they haven't made the same uncoverings that we have had. And a lot of it is just what we call spiritual narcissism, where people do Kundalini activations without recognizing that everybody can do it, and then they think that they're super special. That's not really what you're going for. This is an autonomic response. Your body is undergoing a healing process, greater mitosis cycle. There's a lot of ways to look at it, but basically, it's just taking care of yourself. Praying, activating that light body system, eating really healthy organic foods when you do eat, exercising, getting your yoga in is a great example, stretching, you want to get the blood flow going, and a lot of meditations and prayer. But I think it's, for sacred secretion, it's less about what you're supposed to be doing and it's more about what you shouldn't be doing. Having sex or sexual relations that result in orgasm, you can actually have sex while on your sacred secretion. However, I highly advise against it because not a lot of people are actually making love. They're having sex, which is with the pursuit of orgasm. It's not a spiritual connective bonding. When you master white tantra, then that's where you could actually make love during your sacred secretion. It's very, very different. Definitely don't overdo it on anything when it comes to negative emotions. You want to avoid negative frequencies, negative vibrations, things of that nature. And you want to ensure that you are maintaining a healthy body, a healthy mind. You want to avoid, again, all those negative kind of things. So if you have struggles with your family, maybe your kids stress you out, maybe your spouse stresses you out, maybe your work stresses you out, this is where you want to have a lot more internal reflections, and you got to couple it with a lot of the physical activity too. And so, I mean, that's just the general stuff. You know, if you want to listen to some positive vibrational music, you could do that. If you want to go see a massage therapist or a chiropractor, you can do that. I will actually be going through my sacred secretion preparation phase, which means that the moon is entering Taurus. I'm a sun sign Cancer. I'm a man, so I know that when the moon enters Taurus or when the moon enters Cancer, roughly around Cancer, that is where the sacred secretion process will activate for me. And so what I'll do is I'll start in the sign of Taurus. Why? Because my moon is Taurus, and your astrology plays a huge part into it. Because my moon and my sun are about a couple signs apart, I'm going to get activated a little bit sooner than some other men will. And there's actually a whole science that we're working on and detailing with this entire process. And a lot of this is not just the anecdotal experiences of other people. Again, we can convince ourselves of many things. This is a scientific anatomical process. So if you're interested in finding out more, you can come and work with us. We can do one-on-one sessions to help you discover your best time frame for this. We studied a wide variety of different astrological types, you know, I won't even list them off. But anyway, the point is, yeah, it is very different for both men and women. For women, you should be prioritizing your menstruation ovulation cycles. That for the times of all history has been the time period for women. So whenever you're menstruating or ovulating, this is a time for you to relax and go inward. The moon and the sun sign thing for women just does not work. And not only anecdotally, but also anatomically, it doesn't make any sense. You would have multiple cycles overlapping in and of itself. Women who believe that they're going through a sacred secretion process when the moon enters their sun sign, you're just doing a kundalini activation. These are two very different things. So just want to point that out, and we do have the evidence for this now. We have asked a lot of women about this. We have tons of evidence that proves that this is the case. Again, kundalini awakening is more of a physiological experience, that you are activating something in and of itself. They are not the same things as a sacred secretion cycle, which is an autonomic healing process. Anybody who actually knows the sciences of the sacred secretion cycle are going to know this. And again, the people who are not are just in denial because they've probably built their entire lives and their entire works on the same repetitive notion. This is exactly why when we wrote our book about 3 years ago, we put in the chapter on the sacred secretion, there's some evidence that shows that the sacred secretion timing for women might be in their cycles. So just keep that in mind, because there's a lot of naysayers out there who are basically just trying to use the same old adage that came from very male-dominated sacred societies, and then they're trying to sell you courses and packages. This is why we don't really make a lot of content, because we make a ton of money just by working one-on-one exclusively with clients. This isn't just about sacred secretion. This is getting what we call the 7 forms, right? So this will play into the sacred secretion process for any of you watching, but the 7 form system is something that we've coined within our university, I guess you could call it, of life coaching practicing. It's 7 forms, obviously based around 7 chakras, 7 days of the week, 7 planets, 7 wanderers, 7 everything, 7 everything. And those 7, which, you know, normally we go into heavier detail, so I'm not going to give all the details away, but the 7 form system is energy form, mental form, soul form, love form, spirit form, desire form, and physical form. So when you can master all 7 of those forms, and again, I even did it from the top down in order, when you master all 7 of those forms, then you essentially are in alignment with yourself, and you can activate your authenticity. So that's going to be my answer for that question. Look forward to the other answers to the following questions in later videos. Again, my name is Coach Matt, certified professional spiritual life coach. I have 1 slot open available for anybody who's looking to work with me. After that slot is filled, I will be raising my prices. And just to be transparent, I normally was charging $300 per session, and that is not a 1-hour session. That is roughly about a 2-hour session. Now I'm going to have to, after I fill this last slot, I'm going to be increasing my prices to $1,000 per session. I'm just letting everybody know for awareness. The amount of time that I've been spending on this has been phenomenal. I love every single one of my clients, but it also has been coming down to a lack of time on my part. So there's 1 slot open available to work exclusively with me, and if you're interested in working with Coach Richard or Coach Tyler, they will be staying at that $300 limit. However, I will be bumping my prices up to $1,000 per session. So just wanted to make that aware to everybody. And yes, there's a reason why we don't make videos. It's because we don't have to, because our marketing is not as important as our one-on-one client work, because we do work exclusively with some amazing people. So if you're interested in working with us, go check out all the links in the description, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.